In today's episode, we discuss Assata Shakur and how she went from political activist to ending up on the FBI's most wanted list. Assata Shakur was formerly a member of the Black Panther Party, which ultimately led to her being a victim of COINTELPRO. So make sure you stay tuned for the entire episode to hear the full story. Can't wait till we do a Halloween episode and we dress up.
I love that. I love that idea. It was so cool. That was really cool.
All right, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Shoot the 60 podcast.
Hey.
I have Zai here with me again.
Hey, guys. Happy to be here.
She's great.
Yay.
So today, I'm not going to lie, we kind of low energy, but we're going to just jump right into it. So the story we're going to be talking about today is basically a kind of continuation from what we talked about last week with COINTELPRO. So this is somebody who was affected by COINTELPRO, who was targeted by COINTELPRO. Her name is Assata Shakur, but that's the name that, she changed. Her birth name is Joanne Chesimard, but she goes by Assata now, so that's what I'm going to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about how she went from political activist to being on the FBI's most wanted list. And then as of, I believe, 2013, the FBI most wanted terrorist list.
Damn. Okay, that's intense.
Super intense. So we're going to get into it.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Assata was, she was a part of the Black Panther Party at one point. She ends up leaving. She is also related to someone that you might know. Not blood related, but kind of related.
Ooh.
Tupac.
She's
Tupac's godmother.
Yes. I do know that information.
Yeah. So I'm just going to dive right in.
Okay.
So Assata was born on July 16th, 1947. And her experience growing up, she grew up in the South and in the North.
Okay.
And so just growing up in the fucking 50s and 60s in the South and the North, she basically experienced both sides of the coin.
Gotcha.
Right? When it comes to racism, racial tensions, and how different it is.
Yeah.
From, different points
South
of the country.
Did that. She moved around a lot?
No, so her grandparents lived in the South.
Okay.
And her mom lived in New York.
Oh.
And so her mom and, her sister and her aunt lived in New York. So she would sometimes be in New York, sometimes go down south with her grandparents. So she definitely had that experience.
Yeah.
Now she went to college, and while she was in college, she, started to study history and everything.
Nice.
And just being at that time of just a lot of political activism. And it got to a point where she was like, I don't want to just see it and be around it. I want to be in it. So she decided to join the Black Panther Party.
Nice.
And at first she didn't want to join because she said that she didn't like the machoism. That's the word that she used specifically. Okay. But she was like, fuck it, I'm going to just join.
And machoism refers to just the male dominancy of it?
Yeah, I'm a man and I'm a manly man.
Gotcha.
Stupid shit like that. But she was like, I'm going to join.
Okay.
So she ended up joining, and when she joined, she was assigned to the medical team. And this was in the late 1960s when she joined. So she was assigned to the medical team, and she was responsible for healthcare for the Panthers. She made medical appointments for them. And then as far as the public, they would give out free tuberculosis tests. They would inform them on sickle cell. They would just do a lot for the community.
Cool.
And she was also assigned to the free breakfast program for children. Oh. Now, if people don't know, you know how when we was in school, we got free breakfast in the morning? The Panthers started that. The government didn't make that a thing until the Panthers did it.
Wait, I never knew that, actually.
Yeah. Message. I'm going to have a little audio
message.
But, so she was in the Panther Party, and she felt good. She was like, I finally feel like I'm doing something, we getting somewhere.
Good for her.
But then it started to shift. So I think I touched on it a little bit in the last episode of how the Panther Party was, of course, infiltrated by the FBI.
Yes.
And since they were infiltrated and they were being manipulated by the FBI without even knowing, it started to create tension within the party, even though they didn't know what was going on.
Okay.
And so she started to feel that tension, and it was beef, and she was like, I don't like this. Also, she started to have a sense of paranoia, right? So she described it as basically she would go places and Black policemen or just Black guys would approach her and be like, hey, sister, I want to join the party. I want to get down with the party. And she like, oh, fuck you, an informant. Like, nigga, you weird type shit.
Got you.
Yeah, so she started to peep stuff like that.
Now, question, was her role in the Black Panthers prominent enough where it would make sense people were, like, noticing her? Like, was she becoming, like, not a leader who was, like, popular, but was she becoming at this time just somebody who was making such a difference that it was, like, getting out there? And it's like, oh, you're Assata. Like, I know you.
From what I know, it wasn't like she was like a top dog.
Right.
Like she was just there doing the work.
She was just doing her role in
the okay. But I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure she was just there doing the work. Her part. Yeah. But she was very passionate about the work, as
I can tell
everybody else was in the Panther Party. So, but yeah.
Okay.
So, like I said, they would approach her. She'd be like, you're an informant.
Yes.
And she said she would peep every once in a while. Strange men would follow her.
Oh, no.
And then she realized at one point her phone would ring in her house, right? Even when she didn't pay the bill.
Okay.
So she was peeping all this weird shit. She was like, okay, but remember, they don't even really know the extent. They don't even really know. They know like, oh, FBI, but they don't know the extent of it.
I'm here with you.
So she even said at one point she was in her apartment and she was practicing her public speaking, like she was recording herself on the tape recorder. And she got a phone call from a man. And the man on the phone said, hello, Joanne, stop making tapes.
Girl, what? Okay, so shit getting weird.
Yeah, it's getting weird. So in addition to this, it was projects that she was working on within the Panther Party. Like she had a lot of ideas and she wanted to help the community. Because of all this chaos with the FBI and all these tensions, a lot of her projects was put on hold. And she just was like, you know what, it's too much going on, like within the party with the FBI. It just
no, I completely understand it. Now, I did have a quick question before you touch on her leaving.
Yes.
Were these things only happening to her, if you know?
No.
Wow.
No, I mean everybody was getting touched.
Everybody was getting their own little weird things. Oops, excuse me. Their own little weird things happening to them.
Yep. Ooh, everybody was
getting scary.
It. So she also left because the Panther Party, or just specifically in New York, I guess, I don't know, but there was a thing about not taking criticism. Like you couldn't critique what was going on without consequence. So that was another thing that she was like, it was a lot of different reasons why she left.
Within the organization.
Yeah.
Because if we were doing something wrong, I couldn't be like, hey, we need to improve on this.
Yeah, they might be like, shut up. Or like, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Sounds like my childhood. Literally.
So,
mom and dad.
You stupid. So she was like, you know what? It's just time for me to leave. And she decided to leave. So she left. But at this point, like I said, she was already being surveilled, right? And she also said that sometimes it would be like random white guys like sitting outside of her apartment. Like it was getting weird. So she was peeping all of this. So one day she was walking home and she saw one of her friends. Her friend was like, yo, come here. So she goes here. So she go over there. And her friend like, yo, like, don't go home. Your place just got raided.
Stop.
Her place just got raided.
Oh, my God, that's terrifying. I'm sorry. That is terrifying.
Yeah, she was like, what the fuck? And so she, she was like, what do I do, right? It's like she could go and see what they wanted, or she could go into hiding. And she decided that she didn't want to be put in a bad situation. Okay. So she just went into hiding. She was like, nah.
Oh, snap.
So as she was in hiding, there was a newspaper article printed out about her. And she was wanted for questioning in relation to 2 officers being shot. And that's when she really went into hiding.
Wait a minute. Hold up. So you raid my place. Mm-hmm. Then I decide the best thing should just go into hiding and not be like of suspicion. Then I become of suspicion of 2 people getting killed, and now you want to know where I'm at, dude? What? Mm-hmm. You just want me? Like what? Like you just want trouble from me?
Yeah. Oh, so gosh. she was kind of going through it for real. She was going through it. Oh. Now, at this point, so she goes underground, right? And during this time, a lot of Black revolutionaries or people that was within the movement, if they were being targeted by the police or the FBI or whatever, they went underground. So underground is obviously not a fucking underground tunnel, y'all. Because some people think the Underground Railroad was literally an underground railroad.
Yeah, that's like a big misconception that you would think is not. But I have come across people who believe that is children.
Yeah,
And I
that's
was
not
like,
true.
that's weird.
So to go underground is basically just to go incognito. Like she just did everything she could to stay out of
Got you.
the spotlight, stay out of public, all of that.
Yes.
And at this point, she joined the Black Liberation Army. So the Black Liberation Army, it really depends on who you ask, right, of how it's defined, right? Because if you ask the government, right, the Black Liberation Army was a militant organization with a chain of command, and their sole intent was to kill police officers. That's if you ask the federal government, right? That's what they say. Now, I have a quote from Assata, which she said in her book.
Okay.
She said, the Black Liberation Army was not a centralized, organized group with a common leadership and chain of command. Instead, there were various organizations and collectives working out in different cities. In some of the larger cities, there were often several groups working independently of each other. Many members of the various groups were forced into hiding as a result of the extreme police repression that took place during the late 60s and early 70s. Some had serious cases, some had minor ones, and others, like me, were wanted for questioning. So that's what she had to say about the Black Liberation Army. But yeah, so she was underground.
Right.
Now,
so she went and joined that organization once. So like what's the organization?
Right.
So was it like a want ad out in the paper?
It was wanted ads everywhere. And I'm going to get into that.
Gotcha.
I'm going to get into that. It was so in the beginning of 1971, apparently, allegedly, the police said she was involved in several incidents of assault and robbery.
Oh my goodness.
In New York City, right? We're gonna get into it. So now at this point, and this is the thing that makes her, or I guess the point of her story is like, we're gonna go through her different cases.
Yes.
Because she get charged for like a couple things. And I think once we go through them, you'll really see that there was an intent, like there was an agenda to make sure that she went to jail, even if there was no evidence. So we're gonna get into it.
Okay.
So on May 2nd, 1973, Assata, her friend Sundiata, and her friend Zaid, they went to get something to eat, and they get in the car, and they're driving on the New Jersey Turnpike in New Jersey, right? So they were pulled over by 2 state troopers for a broken taillight.
Okay.
And this resulted in gunfire and the death of one of the troopers, Trooper Forrester, and her friend Zaid.
Oh.
Assata was shot twice, and she was arrested. So after she was shot, she was taken to the hospital, and sorry y'all, it's gonna get like a teeny. Well, it's not gonna get that graphic. It's gonna be a little heavy.
Okay.
So she's taken to the hospital. In the hospital, she said she was repeatedly assaulted by the police. Like punched, kicked, all of that. Both of her ankles were shackled to the bed. She described the police doing Nazi-like salutes when changing shifts in front of her. She described them as pointing a gun to her head and pulling the trigger.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And she was in the hospital for like a few days before she was even able to see her lawyer, which is her aunt. Her aunt ended up being her lawyer.
So they beat her up pretty bad.
Yeah, like I read her aunt's book just to get like a little bit more research, and her aunt she said when she saw her, like her stomach dropped, like it was really bad. But after a few days, a judge comes in to arraign her on her charges.
Okay.
So she was charged with a bank robbery in Queens, a bank robbery in the Bronx, kidnapping of this dude named James E. Freeman, attempted murder of a policeman, and then the shootout that just happened, that she just got arrested at.
So she gets charged for the shootout?
We're gonna get there.
Oh, sorry.
Because the trooper, the trooper and her friend died. So she was charged with
his murder.
She was charged with the trooper's murder, and then the other trooper got shot. He didn't die, but he got shot. So she was charged with
assault.
I have it. So
okay.
1st degree murder, 2nd degree murder, assault and battery against a police officer, assault with a dangerous weapon, assault with intent to kill, illegal possession of a weapon, and armed.
What?
Yeah, it was a lot.
All these charges on her.
Yeah. So throughout her trial, she bounced around different jails.
Okay.
But at one point, she was held in the basement of an all-men's prison, and she was in solitary confinement for 21 months. And she was when she was in the basement of that prison, she was on 24/7 watch, and it was male guards that were watching her piss, all of that. So yeah, it was
21 months solitary. I mean,
solitary confinement
Solitary
in an all
confinement.
men's prison. Yeah,
Now, what age is she at this point?
I believe she was 26.
Girl, what?
Let me see. I could do the
26
math.
at this age?
So she was born
Jesus
what?
Christ.
19. I could be lying. She was born 1940.
I think she's in her 20s because it.
No, she's definitely in her 20s.
Yeah,
She was 26. She was 26.
Jesus Christ.
She's 26. So now we are going to actually get into the trial.
Cool.
You
Of these charges.
Of these charges. And you guys will see the bullshit. You'll see the bullshit. It's all up in your face.
I'm already.
So the first trial we're going to talk about is the Bronx bank robbery.
Yes.
So she was actually tried twice for this. The first time was a mistrial. Now, the second time she was tried, the prosecution's case, it rested largely on the testimony of two men who pled guilty to participating in the robbery.
Yes.
Because it was these two men. Their name was Avon White and John Rivers.
Okay.
And then it was Assata and then her friend Sundiata. Though allegedly they were the ones.
They were the four bank robbers.
Right. But Avon White and John Rivers, they are the witnesses. They pled guilty already, but they weren't charged because based on their testimony, their charges could be dropped.
Because the blame could go on Assata and her friend.
Right.
I'm gonna hear what you.
Exactly.
What are the coincidences of that?
Exactly. So, although Avon White and John Rivers, they testified that Assata was wearing overalls during the robbery.
Okay.
The person identified as Assata in the photograph, the surveillance cameras, was wearing a jacket. So that shit don't even make sense. You saying she wearing overalls, but
which one is it? Which one is it?
Which one is it, right?
Because those are two different pieces of clothing, but okay.
Exactly. So the defense, they wanted to discredit, of course they wanted to discredit him. So they went to Avon and it was like, didn't you spend 8 months in a institution for the criminally insane?
Yeah, uncredible as hell.
And he was like, and this your shit. He was like, didn't you spend 8 months in the hospital? He like, well, no, I faked that so I could get out of jail.
Oh, so you're a liar.
You're a liar.
You're a liar. So I can't believe anything you're saying. All right.
So long story short, she was acquitted. So she beat that because the jury was like, okay.
I'm sorry, there's no evidence.
No evidence.
There's no evidence.
So the second trial we're going to talk about is the Queens bank robbery trial.
How was she pinned? Can I just quickly ask?
Yeah.
How was she pinned even on bank robberies because they supposedly saw her there?
Mm-hmm. Because somebody supposedly saw her there.
Somebody supposedly saw her there when she was in hiding.
Right.
Whatever, yeah.
So now this trial is crazy. So they said she robbed a bank. Some of the witnesses were bank employees. One bank employee testified that she was a bank robber, but then the other three testified that they wasn't sure.
Okay.
So other than the eyewitness testimony, they only had surveillance photos, right?
Okay.
And one of the people that they said was Assata was wearing a wig. So the prosecution wanted to dress her up in the same exact outfit.
I'm not playing.
In the same exact outfit as the person in the photograph. And they wanted to also take a picture of her in the same angle as the person. To see if it matched? And she was like, she was in court like, absolutely not.
Because this is some setup shit. You're literally trying to set me up to make it look like you're not. And I'm sorry, how did the prosecution even think, that's
and
a great idea?
The judge said it was okay. The judge, well, they didn't get to, dress her up because they couldn't force her to put clothes on. But the judge ordered the U.S. Marshals to forcibly take a photo of her. And when they tried to take a photo of her, they physically assaulted her and they beat her down because she resisted or whatever. But later on, that judge ends up getting thrown out from that case. They replaced the judge, and the new judge ends up saying that we can't even allow this evidence into the case. And she ends up beating that case.
You know what? I mean, it's great she's beating the cases,
but she shouldn't even have to go through it.
I'm sorry. It's just like, when how sometimes they say a win is a win, but it's like a sad win because, again, she got beaten down, all that kind of stuff, just to prove. Oh my God, this is sad. Okay, so second case she beat. Cool.
So now we on an attempted murder charge.
And this is the attempted murder of the police officer, the one that
this is shot. A different attempted murder. This is a different attempted
murder.
Okay. These were other cops. This wasn't the turnpike shooting.
This wasn't the turnpike
shooting. This was a different shooting. But the Supreme Court justice ended up dropping it
Okay.
because it was just insufficient evidence, like altogether. So he was like, this is stupid. So she didn't even go to trial for that.
So I also have a thought. If one is insufficient evidence, if two is insufficient, I don't know. If three is insufficient evidence, it looks like you're just picking on her. Like,
insufficient funds.
literally, it just gives you're picking on me. Like, I get I'm that girl and all, but like, why do you want me to go down so bad? There's so many other people. I'm not even just going to say black or white. There's just so many other
people,
actual criminals
actually doing
in
shit.
the world, but you want to take me down. So I don't get it. I really don't get it, but continue, sis.
Yes. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the kidnapping trial.
Gotcha.
So she was charged with robbing a Brooklyn bar and kidnapping the bartender. His name was James E. Freeman for ransom. And her and her co-defendant was accused of entering the bar with pistols and shotguns, taking $50 from the register, kidnapping the bartender, and leaving a note demanding a $20,000 ransom. So this kidnapped bartender actually turned out to be a drug dealer.
Huh.
And he initially had to come into court to like identify her, like that's the one. And when he came in, he just looked real regular, came in fine. Then they called him back into court a couple days later, right? And this time he walked in with a cane and shit.
Bitch, I'm not playing with you.
And he like, yeah, I got these injuries because they beat me up. Da 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 da. Long story short, they find out that he was an FBI informant. paid FBI informant. And
now how they find that out? They beat it out?
They asked him on the stand.
Oh, they asked him on the stand.
They asked him on the stand. They was like, do you have any affiliations with the FBI? And he can't lie. He was like, yeah.
And so basically you just lied and said that she kidnapped you to
definitely lied. On top of that, there was an initial witness who said they was the bar owner and that they witnessed it, right?
What really went down?
The real bar owner said this bar has been closed for at least a year. And he said that he would come to the bar every day to make sure that everything was good. And this shit basically did not happen.
See,
when you do the clownery, comes to bite back.
I'm just sorry. I just feel like my boss always say this. She's such a teacher. Like she'd be like, "You're never smart enough to lie. Like you're really never smart, dude. You're talking about a bar that closed down a year ago. The real bar owner is still alive. Like I'm like, when people lie, like that's a big lie. That's a big accusation to say, yeah, you kidnapped somebody, hold them from ransom and stuff. Have all the holes closed up. Like, I'm so serious. Like,
but this is one of the things, right? That was actually in like one of the COINTELPRO documents. Is like the point is it don't even matter if it stick. It's just to make your life hard, to make sure that we can sit you down for a certain amount of time, because all of this shit costs money, and she didn't have no money.
You're right.
So it was.
I know. I'm thinking it from it.
It's stupid as hell, but they did it for a reason.
I'm literally thinking it from like a mindset of like, oh bitch, we gonna lie. Let's make sure we get this bitch and we really lie. But like you just said, you're just making up a story just to even get her to this point.
Yeah.
Whether it work or stick or not. That's so. I'm sorry.
Because just think about it. With all these charges, she wasn't getting bail.
But I'm just
so she was gonna have to sit through all of these trials. So they did what they wanted to do.
To do that intentionally. But again, y'all don't want to use your money for actual crimes. You just want to see somebody sit around for 21 months and just vibe. Like that blows my mind. It just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so the kidnapper was some BS, noted.
Yeah, she beat that, obviously.
Obviously.
So the last thing is the Turnpike shootout.
Yes, I've been waiting on this one.
This is the Turnpike shootout. Okay. So initially, they tried her for that first, but there ended up being a mistrial, so she had to get retried for it in 1977.
Was there a reason for the mistrial?
It was, but I don't have it right now.
Mistrial.
It was just a mistrial.
Sorry.
It was a mistrial.
So she got tried again.
She tried again, right? So remember, her and her friend Sundiata.
Yes.
Were both getting tried for this.
Getting tried. Yes.
He was already tried and convicted for shooting and murdering the Trooper Forrester. Trooper Forrester is the one who died.
Who died?
Trooper Harper is the one who got shot, but he didn't die.
Right.
So Sundiata was convicted for killing Trooper Forrester.
Damn.
And now...
Damn, she actually killed him?
What? Sundiata's a man.
Why? I know a woman named Sundiata.
No, my iPad died.
I know a woman named Sundiata, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I lie to you not. Like, that's one of my parents' friends' name. I lie to you. And she's a woman. That's why I was like, she.
Oh!
I lie to you not. Like, I literally, like, my parents have a friend named Sundiata. That's why I was like, oh, woman. That seems like a feminine name. My apologies to anyone named Sundiata. Well, that's like my name. You know, my name is mainly boys, not many girls.
We gonna bleep it. They don't need to know your real name.
Oh.
It's like, we ain't gonna bleep
real
it.
Shit. But, so, it was a mistrial. They came to the second trial.
Sundiata was convicted.
Yes.
For killing Forrester. And now the prosecution argued that Assata had fired the bullets that wounded
the other
Trooper Harper.
Yes.
While the defense argued that Zaid, the other person who died, that he did it.
Oh.
So now we're gonna talk about how there was definitely a plot to make sure that she went away for this.
Shit. By the FBI.
By whoever.
Understood.
So I'm gonna give some examples of how her legal team, because for this trial she had multiple lawyers.
Cool.
A couple of her trials she had multiple lawyers. For this one she had a lot of lawyers. She had a lot of help for this one. So her legal team was always under attack, right? So, for example, they had to find experts for this case specifically because they had to prove a big thing about their defense is they had to prove that when she was shot, because like I said, she was shot twice, that when she was shot, her hands was up. Because Harper said that she shot at him first. So they had to find experts to prove this, right? So one of her lawyers, Stanley Cohen, he visits her in jail one day and he like, look, I found an investigator who could give us some dirt on Trooper Harper. And he was like, okay, and I think I'm about to, make progress with a forensic chemist. Because at first they was having a hard time with finding an investigator and a chemist because most of the time those people work with the police department.
Of course.
So he was having a hard time at first and he was like, all right, we can do it. Like,
right.
I'm about to make it chic.
Right.
And they also was granted a motion by the judge that the state would pay these experts.
Nice.
So they was like, okay, we getting somewhere.
Nice.
A few days later, he was found dead in his house with evidence of trauma. Her lawyer, Stanley Cohen. Now, no one knows for sure how he died. The newspaper said natural causes, but a family friend who was in communication with the coroner said this conflicted from what he found, what the coroner found. All of his legal files in his house and his office were gone, and it took a month to get them back. Some of them were never recovered, like trial strategy notes and all the information that he had on the experts that he was in communication with. And the judge, like I said, it took a month. The judge ends up rescinding the motion for the paid experts. So he was like, the state is not going to pay for these experts anymore because y'all took too long. Even though the police confiscated, I'm sorry, I wasn't clear. The police is the ones who confiscated the files.
Oh, so it was just sitting at a station or something.
Yeah. And they had to file the motions to get them back. And
don't get me pissed off in here. Now I'm upset.
That's one thing. Another thing is one of her lawyers, Bill Kunstler, the judge dismissed him and held him with contempt of court. After, this is all he did. He gave a speech at Rutgers University basically saying, like, we need to raise money for this trial. Mm-hmm. And the judge held him in contempt of court for that. Right? What else? Sorry, y'all.
I'm telling you, sometimes when it comes to, like, these popular trials, not to say, I mean, I feel like you're a target regardless if you're in the public eye, regardless. But sometimes when it comes to just like being an attorney and you're like getting a criminal off or whatnot, like you're a target. It just reminds me always of the OJ case. Like I watched that like docuseries on FX, and just like everything happened after the fact of like when OJ was freed. Yeah, like people were just dying left and right. It's kind of scary.
It is scary. It's like it's too intimidating. It's too intimidating.
It's very intimidating. I can't even lie. Like
it is intimidating, but they stuck with her.
Oh, thank God. Whew. Okay, so
also I'm not even done. Sorry. Also,
what do you got?
Her defense counsel's office was burglarized, and this resulted in the disappearance of trial documents. They said it was at least half of the legal papers relating to her case.
Okay, so where's the security? Where's the
judge refused to investigate this.
Girl, I'm not playing with you. So he in on it.
Another one of her lawyers, his name was Lou Myers, He went to a fundraising party. 10 days after he goes to this party, the IRS is now investigating him. Another thing, across the street from the courthouse, it was an office that they would work out of sometimes.
Okay.
They found out that it was bugged. And they filed a motion to get this investigated, and the judge denied it.
Girl, who is this judge? You got his name? I'm about to Google him.
It's Appleby. I don't know his first name.
I don't like that last name.
Yeah.
I'm not caring for that.
So now let's go to...
So basically, her whole legal team was, in a sense, being set up,
targeted. She was being
challenge
sabotaged.
after challenge after. She's being very sabotaged. Unfortunate.
Another thing to point out is, as far as the jury selection, it was all white, and 5 of the jurors had some relation to New Jersey state troopers.
How so? As in, family members, married?
2 friends, 1 girlfriend, and 2 nephews.
Men and... Oh, yeah, you just said men and... Yep. Okay.
Also, and this is directly from her book.
Okay.
She said the judge had denied almost every one of our motions, including my right to defend myself.
Oh, she was going to self-represent.
She did that a couple times, actually.
Oh, you didn't tell me that. That's cool.
I'm trying to just...
No. So... He denied a lot of motions. Any
denied her right to defend herself or act as co-counsel. Denied the change of a venue. Denied a motion to review Trooper Harper's police record.
Why not?
And denied the how can I say this? Denied. Ooh, I don't know. Basically, he didn't allow COINTELPRO, the existence of COINTELPRO, to be factored into the case. They couldn't mention COINTELPRO because at this point, COINTELPRO came out. It's a thing,
but that couldn't be like prevalent
to her case. She couldn't. They couldn't say anything about it
because I'm assuming she must have brought it to her legal team. Was like, yo,
yep. And the judge said no.
Damn.
Judge said no.
I apologize again. What year are we in now with this trial?
1976.
Yeah, I just like to get an idea of how the world was.
We in 1976.
76. Okay. All right. I'm here with you.
Okay. So Trooper Harper's, this is his official statement.
Okay.
He said he stopped the car and he ordered Sundiata to come to the back of the vehicle. So Trooper Forster... I'm sorry. I got a text.
Okay, fine.
He ordered Sundiata to go to the back of the vehicle so Trooper Forster could look at his driver's license.
Yes.
He said that Sundiata complied, and Harper was looking inside the vehicle to examine the registration. He said at that point, Trooper Forster held up an ammunition magazine, and at the same time he held it up, Assata pulled out her gun out her bag and shot him. That is what he said.
So he just shot on impulse?
That's what
like that's what niggas was doing? Whatever. Yeah.
Assata testifies that Trooper Harper shot her after she raised her arms to comply with his demand.
Damn.
She said that the second shot hit her in the back as she turned to avoid it, and that she fell into the ground for the duration of the gunfight before crawling into the back of the car, the back seat of the car. And then when she got back into the car, Sundiata drove 5 miles down the road and parked it. And she said she remained there until state troopers dragged her onto the road.
Damn.
And just something I want to point out is also later on, Trooper Harper testifies that he lied in his initial police report. He testifies to this at his grand jury testimony. So a key element of Assata's defense was medical testimony because basically they had to prove that when she got shot,
she was incapable of raising her
hands. She was like this. Yes. Because I don't think I mentioned this, but when one of the bullets hit a nerve, and the way, the angle that it went in, it paralyzed her arm. I mean, her arm moved now, but I think it was like maybe for a couple months to a year, like she
couldn't move her arm. Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
So the way that the neurologist says it, basically he said that the only way that her arm could be paralyzed like that is if her hands was up like this.
Oh,
so the Trooper Harper said she shot him. If she was like this and it came in, she wouldn't have got paralyzed.
She wouldn't have gotten paralyzed. Yeah. She would have simply just been shot.
Exactly.
But so that means she was at a defense when she had her hands up and when she was shot.
Yes. The neurologist said basically it was anatomically impossible for the way that she was shot for her to not have had her hands up.
You know what? Sometimes I do love science. Sometimes.
Also, there was no gunpowder residue on her fingers, and they did not find her fingerprints on any weapon at the scene.
Oh no, gunpowder residue is like for real. Like it always and it takes a while for it to go away. Like you can't just wash your hands and be gone. Like so that's telling too. So that means
she didn't do it. She didn't do it.
I'm sorry, as a judge, I'm sorry, as just any sane person who knows just facts. I don't know. It's crazy.
And also, just one more thing to throw in there that just is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So after the shootout, about 200 yards from where the shooting took place, Trooper Harper, there's like an administration building, right? For like the troopers or whatever.
Yeah.
So after the shooting, Trooper Harper ran to this administration building and was basically like, oh, it was a shootout. Like, I need help type shit, right?
After being shot in the stomach?
I don't know where he was shot. I don't think he was shot. I don't know if he was shot in the stomach.
Oh, okay.
But he ran.
But he ran to get help?
Help, right. Now, apparently, he did not report that Trooper Forrester, the one that was
the one that's killed,
he did not report that he was at the scene. No one at the headquarters knew that Trooper Forrester was there until his body was discovered beside his patrol car an hour later.
Okay, hold up, run that back. Because your partner didn't report that you was there.
Which is fucking weird. Because if my partner is shot and I'm running to the bill, I'm a
bitch, I'm like, my shooter just got shot. He's probably dead. But you like, oh yeah, it's these black people down there. I need some backup.
He did not report that Trooper Forrester was shot.
Until people came, like you said, and saw, girl, let's get this nigga on the stand, because what's tea with you?
So that's just something to think about.
Girl.
But
and that man had to die for what?
Right. That's what made me think. I was like,
no, I'm like so serious. Like now I'm kind of like, why he die?
I'm like, did you do this? Is what first thought in my head. Did you do some fuck shit and he saw it and then he got shot and you was like, I'm gonna just have to let him bleed out.
There you go. Because you know what probably happened. Ooh, I already know what happened because I was there. I'm here. Mm-hmm. He probably assaulted Assata, Zaid,
mm-hmm.
and what's the other name I'm missing?
Sundiata.
Thank you. He probably, roughing up. Forrester probably like, yo, chill, just chill. Like, just chill. Just give him the ticket, keep moving. He like, what you say? Bah!
Yep.
Killed him.
That's what I'm thinking, bro.
And everybody like, whoa, what the fuck? Got heated real quick.
Because it don't make sense.
That's I'm like.
It don't make sense. Unless you was on some shady shit.
Because why he died and you just got shot? I wouldn't even put it past him just shooting yourself. People crazy.
They are crazy.
Oh, brother. Okay.
So
did his testimony hold up in court?
I'm about to tell you.
Thank you.
Assata was convicted. She was sentenced to 26 to 33 years in prison. I'm sorry. She was sentenced to life. On top of that, 26 to 33 years.
I got to do some legal research because why when you're given life,
they put extra years on top of it? I have no idea.
Like, they be like, and an extra 15 for this, and an extra 10 for that.
Like, baby,
nigga, you already gave me, like, there's no... Continue.
So, at this point, she's in jail. She was actually housed with a lot of racist people. And she feared for her life a little bit. Like, she had encounters with, like, people from, like, the, like, what is it, Aryan? It's like this super like white supremacist group.
Oh, I'm not familiar.
I think it's called Aryan, but so she was in jail.
And question, at this point she's in her 30s or she's still like late 20s?
So this was
because we said early 70s, I believe.
19. I think she should be 30. She was born in 1947.
Sorry, I love a good timeline of ages. I just like
she's 30. So she's
30 and this is where your life basically ended at? Good God almighty.
So she's in jail and she's experiencing the things of jail.
Of course.
And she's in jail. She's like, I don't want to be here anymore. So in early 1979.
They're like, knock on the door. Hey, so no one did this anymore. So I actually want to leave.
In 1979, a group of Black Liberation Army members began to plan her escape. So they stole $100,000 from a Bamberger store. I don't know what Bamberger is. A Bamberger store. And on November 2nd, 1979, they bust her out of jail. So they came in as visitors. It was 3 men and 1 woman. and they presented false identification to enter the prisoner's visitor room. They
Nice.
had some guns on them, you know. They had some
No
guns on them, and they
shit.
held the correction officers. They held them,
Yeah,
you
held him at
know,
gunpoint.
captive, but they didn't
Mm-hmm.
hurt them, and they got Assata out
We
of
don't want to
there.
kill you. We just want her.
Yeah, like
Mm.
just chill,
Just chill,
just
books,
chill.
but sister, but sister.
So
Okay.
they got her out of there.
Wait, where was she in prison? She was in prison in New York? No.
She was in the Clinton Correctional Facility for Women in New Jersey.
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Okay.
So she was close.
She was close. She was close.
Yeah. So apparently, and this comes years later because they didn't know where she was at, obviously.
Obviously.
But years later, it comes out that she lived in Pittsburgh until 1980, and then she flew to the Bahamas.
Okay, sis was up the block. I'm not playing with her. She
Right.
said, so I'm just leave Jersey and just go to Pittsburgh real quick. Like, no bigs.
Exactly.
Girl.
And then from the Bahamas, she went to Cuba,
Yeah.
where she resides now.
Yeah.
And that is the story of Assata Shakur.
I'm not even gonna hold you. She's badass as fuck for that.
But yeah, she is on the FBI's most wanted list.
Wow.
And the as of 2013, I believe that
You said terrorist.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna hold you. She don't even give like bad. She just gives like you just wanted to target me. Like
Yeah.
Like I don't even know where the crime is. Like what do you have such against me?
There was no crime.
That's what I'm like, what do you have such against me now I'm a terrorist? Because I'm not gonna let you play with me?
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna let you play with me.
I
Are
mean,
you mad?
they couldn't, even with the trooper killing, there was no evidence
That's what
that
I'm
she
like,
did that. They just wanted to
that
make
forensic
sure.
with the hands up is good.
Yeah,
That's really
they just
good.
wanted to make sure that she put her in jail. That they put her in jail for real.
Just put
And
another black woman away.
that's why I did the COINTELPRO episode first to
Good
kind
lead up,
of
sis.
to
Very
kind of
good
give
lead up.
context, just because I know like if you just listen to it, you like this don't make sense. But I mean, it still don't make sense. But with the foundation of COINTELPRO, you see that. I mean, honestly, the only reason that her story is even like, I feel like, not to diminish anything that she did,
No, of
like
course.
with her involvement with the Black Panther Party, but the only reason is this big thing is because she was able to escape. I
Yes.
feel like, because there's a lot of people in the Panthers or in other organizations who have the same exact story, but they wasn't able to escape.
I'm gonna say that's bigger because again, that's like 1 in a million.
Yeah,
Not only escape, still living to this day.
she's still living.
Like that's I'm sorry. I have a huge question. The people that help her get out of jail, like
they
what?
were convicted. They were caught and they were convicted.
Caught and convicted.
Yeah,
Must have been worth it.
yeah. They was on some real ride or die shit.
I'm
back
sorry.
then.
You went into the jail, posed as some people, and was like, "Yeah, just kidding. Get her out of this bitch," and then like helped her escape. Like, I'm sorry, that's badass as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
that's badass as fuck. But you know what's interesting? She has experience because she was underground.
Right.
So she,
So she did have that experience of staying low key and shit.
She's high key a badass. I was just giving her a little bit. No, she's high key badass.
She's very much a badass. But I would say, just because I don't want to ramble on,
Yeah,
I would say if you guys really do like this story, want to hear more about it, I'm not going to tell you more, but you can read her autobiography, the autobiography of Assata Shakur. I also read her aunt's book because her aunt, who was her lawyer, she also has an autobiography, and she talks about how their family dealt with it. She also talks about the trials from a lawyer's perspective, and yeah, definitely go check that out. Her autobiography is a really good read. It's a really good read.
My dad likes the book a lot. Well, I have a question for you in just regards of Assata. Do you, I guess not even in the sense of just like the crimes that she was, accused of. Do you think that she was the kind of person that they were painting her out to be? Obviously,
No.
Okay.
And she goes into that in the book. Like she goes into like when she saw her face on newspapers and was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Wow.
And now you just got to read the book. Really, you really got to read the book. She doesn't. She never talks about. She never gives details of the escape, because if she did,
girl,
I would give it to you. I only have those details because of court testimony of the two that got caught.
Tell nobody.
I think she'll tell when she's like about to die. Yeah, because she's Because how old is she
should
now?
be like
In her 70s?
If you said she was 30 something in her,
She was born in 47.
She's 80.
She's 77.
Oh, not yet.
So she up there, but Yeah.
Hold on, Books. Write a part 2 and put it there.
That's what I'm saying.
Write a part 2 and be like, let me tell you how I've been living the last 30 years. Dragging on their nuts. Sorry.
You're crazy.
I'm sorry, but she's actually dragging on the US's nuts. Like, I'm not even capping. Like, she's actually doing the big thing. Wow. Do you think that her kind of story and legacy, do you think that, what kind of impact do you think it has had on, in a sense, like the government, or just like kind of Black history, or just simply why her story is important? Like, why do you think that she has become such a prominent person of, like, you know, like, people know her name in a sense. Like, I remember growing up and my dad talking about her book, talking about her name. Like, why do you think she's such a prominent person?
I think it's really her book, because her book is like, and I didn't go into all of this, but she literally talks about growing up, and she talks about her transition into activism. She talks about her thought process. She talks about even how her ideologies have changed and how the way she saw the world has changed. Like, from the beginning of the book to the end, it's like, I don't know. I just think that she gives a perspective on a lot, and she really makes you think. And I think if you can't get anything from the book, you should get the, like, resilience. It's her resilience and, like, perseverance. It's like, it's fucking crazy.
You know, honestly, I feel like when I was growing up a lot and I was learning about activists and just people who, like, in the beginning when you said, like, she just wanted to do more, I feel like there is definitely a certain kind of person who just wants to do more. She was definitely that person. They see a lack and they're like, okay, I have to be like an example in a sense. And honestly, I commend people like that, because everybody isn't that kind of person. Everybody isn't I'm going to stand up for this because this is wrong. Yeah. You know, and it's not to say you're better or you're not better, but I think it's amazing that she even, like, she was young. That's why I kept asking about her age. I'm like, dude, really 26 and you're on trial for all these, you know, like, that's intense to, like,
that is intense. But she
be put as an example.
She's well, I don't know why I'm saying, well, she's still alive.
Right.
She, based off you really have to read the book. I have the book. I can give it to you.
I would love it. I would love it. I'm trying to get to read it.
She's super, super wise, and, like,
she sounds wise. I'm sorry. She sounds like
super wise. And, like, I don't know. Even if you're not into, like, political activism, I feel like she says certain things that just kind of open your eyes into, like, oh damn, I ain't even never thinking no shit.
No,
like
that's awesome.
Especially, I feel like, especially as a Black woman, she also talks about how, you know, gender and all these different things play into it, and she doesn't. And I think what a lot of people, like, get confused with like the Black Panthers and just, like, maybe, like, pro-Black groups in general, is, like, they think it's like race, and it's like
it's just race.
It's just race, and the Black Panthers has never really been about race. It's always been about the capitalist society. Like, it's just imperialism and capitalism, but people, like, overlook that because it's probably because Black people. White people are in charge of that. But
Black Panthers being all Black, it's like, oh, so you guys are just doing it because you're Black,
right?
Well,
right, but yeah, it's definitely a good read. I think y'all should definitely go read that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for educating us and letting us know about Assata. This is
Black History Month. What'd she say? Light skin, dark skin, beige, fluorescent beige, bitch. I'm Black. And on that note, we're going to end the show. Make sure y'all tune in next week for a new episode of Shoot to 60 Podcast.
Woo-woo.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.